I made over $1,000 in one weekend as a beginner cinematic content creator, filming 2 projects. And in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how I did so. This is only my 2nd month since I really made the transition to a professional cinematic content creator. So it is definitely within reach for any of you guys. Now, before we get into the exact framework, I just want to mention I'll leave a link to the PDF summary version of this 4-step framework in the bio. So just click the first link in the bio and it'll take you to the PDF version, which you can download and have a look and just use as a reference. Now, this 4-step framework hinges around the concept of working smarter, not harder. So this content creation venture is really something I can just do on the side, and it's something I really only accommodate when I have time to do so. So I only do the outreach to potential customers, etc., when I know I have the capacity to take on a project. And really this is on a limited basis. But nevertheless, this goes to show that you can actually make a significant amount of money and charge a significant amount for projects while only working a fairly short amount of time and how much ever time your schedule allows you to fit in. So now let's get into the actual framework. And the first step, I think, the first point, which is also the first step, and I think it's super important to make clear, is that you guys need to approach this as a business rather than a hobby. And when I say this, I mean content creation. And the reason I say you do so is because by approaching it as a business rather than a hobby, you can benefit from the benefits you would get at approaching it as a business, while also benefiting in the same way you would if you approached it as a hobby. So it is a bit wordy, but I'll explain exactly what I mean now. So by approaching it as sort of a business, this means rather than producing content and waiting for others to get in touch with you, you actively outreach and you actively try and get in touch with clients and try secure projects, rather than hoping that you can produce content, post content, and eventually build yourself and your reputation up to a level where people will be messaging you as opposed to you messaging them. The reason I say don't go for that route is it's very difficult to do and it does take a much longer time to do so. Whereas if you approach it as a business from the outset, you can ensure you're actually actively trying to secure clients in the first place. And by doing so, you actually are able to develop your portfolio and your reputation, because you get these projects and you get this selection of content, which you can then use and utilize on your social media to post and to sort of showcase your development and your skills, which will help you in the same way as building a brand would, because it helps improve your reputation and it also helps improve just how people perceive you and whether they perceive your content to be high quality. So this is why I really recommend you approach it as a business rather than as a hobby, because by doing so, you can benefit from firstly generating revenue and profit, and secondly also developing your reputation at the same time, as opposed to only developing your reputation and not generating profit and revenue. So yeah, please make sure you approach this as a business rather than a hobby. I still appreciate the art of creating content, despite the fact that I'm treating it more as a business than as a hobby. You want to also ensure you niche down as a creator. By niching down, the result is you specialize in one particular niche, and this allows you to do a number of things. Firstly, to improve your skills at one particular niche very rapidly, which translates to an improved overall product and quality of service that you provide clients, while also improving your reputation with the space and your ability to charge highly, because people will perceive, or clients will perceive you as being a specialist in that matter, rather than seeking someone else who's a generalized content creator. They will regard your particular skills as specific and necessary and sort of very beneficial and related to what they're trying to do and what their business is all about. So in my case, I'll give you an example. My niche that I decided to specialize and focus and sort of niche down on is content creation, cinematic content creation for luxury properties / hotels, etc., high-end hotels, if you will. Now, the reason I did choose that niche is for a number of reasons. Firstly, I assessed the market. Where I live right now, it's quite a touristy place, and there are a number of beautiful, high-quality, luxury guest houses, cottages, and hotels. So there really is a lot of potential for me. And not just where I live, within the country itself, within Kenya, you have the opportunity to work with safari camps, hotels everywhere. So I do think it is quite a broad and diverse niche in that there are a lot of potential customers. And I do also believe the competition is very low in this niche. Specializing down can also mean that you can charge higher fees. And this is because people will perceive you as a specialist, which is obviously always the case. If you look around, you're always going to charge more for a specialist than someone who does a general job, because you think and you perceive the specialist to be better at the skill firstly, and to therefore provide a better quality product, which is the case. If you specialize, it means you refine your skills, and you refine a lot of skills in a very quick manner that are tailor-made to that particular niche. If you focus on niching down and focusing on niche, which is high ticket as well, which you can charge a lot, is an added benefit because it also means you have to rely on less projects, like in my case as well. Now, the next step, step 3 of my framework, is honestly to just start creating. And the reason is, as much as you may hear it, you won't realize how much you can actually improve your skills by starting out. If I look back to the first video I made when I started my professional content creation studio, in fact, I'll try to put a clip of that in now. Honestly, it was nowhere near the quality of footage I'm able to produce now. So I actually just put one of when I started this journey. So it was around 2 months ago, I think come December time, towards the end of December. And I'll put one of my most recent projects now. And you can honestly see the massive difference I've made, not only in just the cinematic moves that I'm able to do with my drone, but also my editing skills. They have significantly improved. And it's something I would not have expected. Honestly, I would have thought, oh, how am I ever going to get better at something like editing, which is so complicated? But by just creating and by producing more content, you really develop your skills very profoundly and very quickly and very noticeably as well. So yeah, just start creating is the best advice I could give to anyone. And if that means you have to offer free projects to clients when you're outreaching initially, because they may not trust your quality or they may not have that rapport with you, then just do it. That's what I did. I offered 2 free projects before I got my first paying gig, or my first 2 paying gigs in that weekend. Yeah, and honestly, I didn't regret doing so at all because it helped identify weaknesses in my service and in the quality of my product, which I then addressed. And then I was able to perform better when I got these paying gigs. And the result was my clients were very happy with my my product and my service. So really focus on, just ensure you're creating and focus on creating rather than planning or just researching and stuff. You have to go out there and you have to practically get involved with the skill if you want to actually improve your skills. And the best way, like I said, is offering clients free sort of demo projects. So you don't have to go over the top. You can do something very simple for them that still provides value to them, but also provides value to you by allowing you to sort of get the interaction of what it's like to actually work with a client firstly. Treat it as a professional paying job if you have to, just so you understand the process and how to approach any future jobs you may get. And go all out, give it your all. Yes, you don't have to go over the top in terms of what you're offering, but when you offer something, make sure you do it to the best of your ability so it identifies to both you and your clients your potential and what you need to work on for yourself. Now, the final step of my framework, and one that I think is maybe quite underestimated and links into that first point I made, and this is sort of where people underestimate this step, is due to the fact that they're not approaching this like a business and more like a hobby. So this last step ties in very much to the first step. And it's all about the importance of your ability to sell and how you market your product and how you outreach to clients. Now, the reason I think sales is so important is because if I'm looking at myself, I think I'm a perfect example of the importance of sales. Now, I'm by no means an expert in drone photography or content creation in general, particularly cinematic content creation, but I think I'm quite good. Nevertheless, I think I was able to make up for my initial lack of sort of expertise or lack of exceptionalism, I guess, with my really strong sales ability, my ability to sort of understand the needs of a client, convey a high quality service and product as well from my end. Those 2 things I really think are super important aspects of sales. And I think if you can nail those 2 elements of the art of sales, I think you can compensate for any sort of, not lack, but any sort of, I guess, decreased skill set you may have. With marketing, I'm actually going to give you a few tips here for what you can actually do and how you can actually market yourself as a beginner creator with limited resources and with limited content and as a one-man team. And the way I approached my marketing was I used a software called Vimeo. I'll try to put that in the link as well if you guys want to check it out. So firstly, that's a super useful resource because it allows you to upload your videos and create an online portfolio. But the important thing is you can upload your videos in 4K, whereas something like Instagram or other social media platforms limit the quality you can upload. This service allows you to upload in high quality 4K, so your clients actually see how good your content is and how much potential your content has despite the restrictions imposed by social media platforms from a quality compression perspective. And a second element of marketing is your social media and your online presence. So you want, like I said, despite the fact that Vimeo, that software I just mentioned, allows you to upload in 4K, and the fact that social media compresses it, that doesn't mean you shouldn't post on social media. You should still definitely be doing so, because the reality is the majority of people you want to be targeting will be using social media and may inevitably stumble across your content. For my second paying project, what actually happened was, or my first paying project actually, I got a referral because someone who follows me on Instagram saw my content and then referred me to the client, who I then ended up making the deal with, and I ended up providing the service and getting paid for. So really don't underestimate the importance of third-party referrals and using social media in that respect. Aside from marketing, you want to have a solid outreach process, because as I said when I covered step one, you want to be messaging your clients rather than having your clients message you or waiting for them to message you. And this is doable by having a really sound outreach process. And my process relied on cold outreach. I make a list of the potential clients that I want to work with who tick my criteria. So a luxury guest house cottage or a luxury hotel, because they have the ability and resources to pay for the services I'm charging for. So I make a list of all of these in the nearby area, and I just start outreaching to them. I craft a simple, solid message that really just attempts to build a nice rapport with them, but also showcases and highlights the quality of my skills and what I'm able to create for them and what I'm able to provide for them in terms of value. And I just, again, want to come back to this super important point, just so you guys really understand how important sales is and how it really can transform your ability to make money within the space, particularly as a beginner cinematic content creator. And I think, like I said, I'm a perfect example. My skills are good, but by no means are they great or exceptional. And because I think of how powerful and how strong my sales techniques and sort of understanding of sales is, I think I really was and am able to bridge that gap between someone who's good like me and someone who's exceptional and great. And I can bridge the gap between the two because of how I convey myself and because of how I portray my service and my quality, my product and my business. I really try and create a sense of value and a perception that my company and my product is something that will provide a lot of value and is very high value to you. But that is my 4-step framework. And like I said, I will make sure to link that in the description below. So that's the first link in the description below. Make sure you go check it out so you have like a referenceable, summarized version of this video. And honestly, I do really believe in the 4-step framework that I covered here, because I've done it. I'm proof that it does work. So I would really highly advise you to try your best, try follow everything I've said, try understand why. And if you guys have any questions, just make sure to drop a comment down below and I will 100% get back to you and reply to your comments. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you guys soon.